Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Michael Baldwin's life in Genoa City has always been defined by a fine balance between loyalty, ambition, and survival. And now it seems that balance is about to tip dangerously in a direction no one quite expected, because the once fiercely loyal ally to Victor Newman may be contemplating the unthinkable, joining the enemy's staff. And this potential betrayal is not only shocking because of the history Michael shares with Victor, but because of how deeply it will shake the delicate alliances. Running through town, after all, Michael Baldwin, played masterfully by Christian LeBlanc, has never been one to make rash decisions, yet his recent frustrations with Victor's unrelenting ego and constant demands have left him feeling stifled, undervalued, and restless. And when he tried to set boundaries to stop Victor from escalating his war with Jack Abbott, Victor saw it as weakness, pushing Michael further away until finally Michael had no choice but to walk away, an act Victor considers betrayal in itself. But the real storm is still to come because whispers around town suggest Michael is about to get an offer that could change the game entirely, one so tempting and transformative that even Lauren Fenmore, Michael's loving wife, may not be able to dissuade him. And what makes it worse is the likelihood that this opportunity comes not from a stranger, but from one of Victor's greatest rivals, the Abbotts. Now, if Michael were to accept such an offer, he would instantly be painted as a traitor in Victor's eyes, a man who abandoned his loyalty not just to Victor but to the Newman Empire as a whole. Yet Michael may see it differently because since leaving Victor, he has felt adrift, unmoored, and uninspired, lacking a sense of purpose or challenge. And when a man like Michael is left without a mission, trouble is bound to follow. So perhaps this new job offer is the very spark he needs to rediscover his drive. Though unfortunately, it may come at the cost of a lifelong friendship and alliance with Victor Newman. Speculation is rife that Jack Abbott could be the one extending this olive branch. And the idea of Michael working directly for Jabot, advising Jack legally or strategically, would ignite Victor's rage like nothing else. For Victor has always believed that once you're his ally, you remain loyal forever. But Michael is not a man who bows indefinitely to one master, and if he truly feels neglected and dismissed by Victor, then perhaps aligning with Jack is not betrayal at all, but rather self-preservation. Still, it's impossible to ignore how devastating this would be for Victor. Because the Newman-Abbott rivalry is not just about business, it's personal, generational, and deeply rooted in grudges that never seem to fade. And to lose Michael to the opposing camp would be a symbolic blow to Victor's pride, one he would neither forgive nor forget. But the soap gods are not content with a simple betrayal. They are adding layers to this storyline, because Amanda Sinclair has returned to Genoa City, and with her arrival comes intrigue, danger, and opportunity, as she meets Kane Ashby and quickly finds herself tasked with a risky assignment that could entangle her in a web of deceit spun by both Kane and Phyllis Summers. Amanda's willingness to take risks may very well backfire, especially since Phyllis has a tendency to overplay her hand, leaving Amanda exposed. Yet Amanda's gamble intersects with Michael's dilemma in fascinating ways, because Kane himself might be the one holding the golden key to Michael's future, perhaps offering him an enticing role in his schemes, one that allows Michael to step out of Victor's shadow while still wielding considerable influence. And if Michael does accept an offer from Kane, who has his own complicated history with Lily Winters and a tendency to strike when least expected, then Victor's fury will erupt with double the force, seeing not just betrayal, but treachery aligned with a man Victor considers beneath him. Meanwhile, Holden Novak is forming alliances of his own, partnering with Claire Grace Newman to go after Audra Charles, and this new partnership only adds to the chaos, because Holden once wanted Audra back, but now his shift in loyalty leaves Claire suspicious and vulnerable, especially when she discovers Kane has been pulling strings in Holden's decisions. If Claire feels betrayed by Holden, her own standing with Kyle Abbott becomes more precarious, which is ironic considering Kyle has chosen this exact moment to propose marriage to Claire, a gesture that on the surface looks grand and romantic but underneath reeks of desperation, as Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack themselves note that Kyle's timing makes him seem guilty and untrustworthy, and Claire, being far more logical and less emotionally swayed than someone like Summer or Lola, will not simply leap into forever unless she feels secure in Kyle's honesty, so his proposal may actually push her further away. In the midst of all this, Audra Charles is seeking a second chance with Nate Hastings, Sally Spectra is forging a mysterious pact with Billy Abbott that straddles the line between business and pleasure. And Nikki Newman is preparing a romantic surprise for Victor that may temporarily soothe his ego, though it cannot undo the wound Michael's potential betrayal will cause if he accepts Jack or Kane's offer. And while Lauren will be the first to raise alarms if Michael so much as considers joining forces with the Abbotts, she may also recognize that her husband has been stifled for too long, needing to find meaning beyond Victor's orbit, though that won't stop her from worrying that Michael's decision could drag them both into the line of fire of Victor's legendary wrath. And the truth is, once Michael crosses that line, there is no going back, because Victor is not a man who forgives traitors, he destroys them, and if Michael is not careful, he could find himself targeted not just as an enemy, but as an example, the one Victor makes to prove that betrayal has consequences. What makes this storyline particularly compelling is how it weaves together the threads of Holden and Claire's risky alliance, Amanda's dangerous assignment, Kyle's ill-timed proposal, and Kane's shadowy machinations, all of which intersect with Michael's choice in ways that could destabilize Genoa City entirely. Because Michael's move will not happen in isolation, it will ripple outward, affecting the Abbotts, the Newmans, the Baldwins, and beyond, creating new fault lines and reigniting old wars. So the question remains, will Michael Baldwin, restless and searching for purpose, truly join the enemy's staff, or will he find a way to carve his own path without fully betraying Victor? The coming weeks promise tension, heartbreak, and confrontation. And whatever choice Michael makes, one thing is certain. It will alter the landscape of Genoa City forever. A traitor. Does Michael join the enemy's staff? Christian LeBlanc's character Michael Baldwin might choose a new job offer. Will the former lawyer for Victor Newman join the enemy? Michael attempted to establish some boundaries and prevent Victor from escalating his conflict with Jack Abbott. But Victor remained as unyielding as ever, and Michael finally had to go. For Victor, that was a massive betrayal, but Michael might be about to make an even greater one in the upcoming episodes. Some unexpected events for Michael that, in Victor's opinion, would place him in enemy territory. As it happens, Michael is going to get an unexpected offer. Michael will be offered a tempting opportunity by someone, and he might ultimately choose to seize it. Since leaving Victor, Michael hasn't had anything going on, so it's likely that he's growing bored and restless. This might be Michael's opportunity to go headfirst into a new endeavor and find new meaning outside of Victor. Regretfully, if Michael's new offer involves the Abbotts, it might worsen his relationship with his old boss. Will Michael get back into the firing line and join Jack as a recruit? If Michael becomes entangled in the Newman-Abbott dispute once more, Lauren Fenmore Baldwin might become anxious once more. This time, Michael might simply be playing for a different squad. Even though Lauren will raise the alarm if Michael sides with the Abbotts, he might still protect Jabot from an unruly Victor. Victor's already damaged relationship may worsen if he learns that Michael has accepted a job offer from his biggest enemy. Keep an eye out for any bad news that may come, since if Michael goes this path, his friendship with Victor won't be restored anytime soon. Holden's alliance, Michael's opportunity, and Amanda's risk. Michelle Morgan's character, Amanda Sinclair, should take a chance. Claire Grace Newman and Holden Novak join forces. In addition, Christian LeBlanc's character Michael Baldwin is given a new chance. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. The assignment of Amanda Sinclair. Amanda, who recently returned to Genoa City, will be our first guest. She met with Kane Ashby as her first action. The tycoon is removing himself from the spotlight before striking at the wrong time. Returning to Amanda, Kane has a unique task in store for her. Amanda's risk-taking to assist Phyllis Summers is also hinted at. But Phyllis will have overplayed her hand by Friday. Holden Novak's partnership. He and Claire join forces with Holden to pursue Audra Charles. Claire and Audra have a furious exchange shortly after. The fact that Holden will consent to pursue Audra is intriguing. There was a time when he just wanted Audra back. Furthermore, what occurs when Claire finds out about Holden's arrangement with Kane? She will simply feel deceived once more. The marriage proposal of Kyle Abbott. According to the Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of September 1st, Claire receives a proposal from Kyle Abbott. But I believe Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott are correct. It will appear as though he is overcompensating for being discovered, and the timing is terrible. It can even appear more shady than romantic. Someone who is more emotional might respond well to this strategy. Claire, on the other hand, is more left-brained and won't desire a lifelong commitment unless she is certain Kyle is trustworthy. Audra should request a second opportunity from Nate Hastings. In the meantime, Sally Spectra and Billy Abbott pledge to one another. Is this a commitment for work or pleasure? Sally might be reluctant to tell Audra her news if it's a proposal. Additionally, Victor Newman is the recipient of a romantic surprise from Nikki Newman. A new chance is offered to Michael. What if Michael receives an offer from Kane? Lily Winters is another. The woman will keep pressuring Kane to tell the truth. What will he do next? Then? Michael Baldwin's crossroads becomes the focal point of Genoa City's unfolding storm, and the tension around his decision to possibly join the enemy's staff grows thicker by the day, because this isn't just about switching jobs or exploring a new opportunity. It's about identity, loyalty, and survival, and Michael knows better than most that in Genoa City, nothing is ever simple, not when Victor Newman is involved. After decades of standing by Victor's side as his trusted legal advisor and confidant, Michael has seen firsthand the glory and the destruction that come from standing too close to the Titan, and he has also seen what happens when someone dares to defy Victor. So when he walked away after Victor refused to respect boundaries regarding his escalating war with Jack Abbott, Michael knew he was taking a risk. But what he didn't anticipate was how quickly he'd feel unmoored without Victor's gravitational pull dictating his every move. In the weeks since his departure, Michael has tried to busy himself with small projects, consulting here and there, spending more time with Lauren, but the truth is that he has grown restless, almost hollow, craving a challenge big enough to ignite his mind again. And so when whispers of an offer from Jack Abbott begin to circulate, Michael cannot help but listen, because though he knows the optics will scream betrayal, he also knows that perhaps aligning with Jack could provide him not just with meaningful work, but with a chance to rebalance his life on his own terms. Jack, for his part, has been quietly considering how to fortify Jabot against Victor's aggression, and having someone with Michael's knowledge of Victor's patterns, tactics, and weaknesses would be invaluable. So when the opportunity arises, Jack does not hesitate to make his move, extending a carefully crafted offer that speaks not just to Michael's skills but to his ego, reminding him that at Jabot he wouldn't be a subordinate dancing to Victor's whims, but an equal partner in shaping the company's future. And though Michael initially resists, haunted by the specter of Victor's inevitable wrath, the temptation gnaws at him, especially when Lauren begins to notice his restlessness and quietly wonders aloud whether he needs a new challenge. What complicates matters further is Kane Ashby's re-emergence in Michael's orbit, because Kane, always calculating and opportunistic, has been working in the shadows, aligning himself with figures like Amanda Sinclair and Holden Novak to orchestrate moves against rivals, and when Kane dangles his own offer before Michael, something far more unconventional and dangerous than Jack's proposal, it throws Michael into deeper conflict, because while Jack's offer is about stability and power within the Abbott empire, Kane's is about intrigue, deception, and operating in the gray areas Michael once thrived in as a criminal defense attorney. And though Michael knows Lauren would be horrified at the idea of him working with Kane, he cannot ignore the spark of excitement he feels at the thought of diving back into the shadows. Amanda's involvement in all of this only makes things messier, because her risky assignment from Kane intersects with Phyllis Summers' schemes, and Michael, knowing both women well, begins to see threads connecting plots that others cannot, making him an invaluable ally, or a dangerous enemy, depending on where he places his loyalties. And Amanda herself starts to suspect that Michael is being groomed for something far bigger than just a simple job shift. Meanwhile, Claire Grace Newman's partnership with Holden Novak against Audra Charles ripples outward, as Claire's mistrust of Holden grows when she learns he has been in quiet talks with Kane, and her disillusionment is amplified when Kyle Abbott's poorly timed marriage proposal lands like a ton of bricks, leaving her feeling suffocated rather than cherished, which in turn fuels her determination to carve her own identity apart from Kyle's shadow, even if it means aligning with Holden against Audra despite her doubts. The dominoes keep falling, because Nate Hastings, still processing Audra's plea for a second chance, finds himself pulled back into Newman family drama, where Nikki surprises Victor with a romantic gesture intended to soften his rough edges, though even her love cannot shield him from the fury he will unleash if he discovers Michael has accepted an Abbott-aligned offer. And the irony is not lost on Nikki, who has always respected Michael's intelligence and calm counsel. that Victor's inability to compromise may be the very thing driving Michael into enemy arms. The deeper question, though, is whether Michael truly wants to betray Victor, or whether he sees this as a rare opportunity to protect Genoa City from Victor's unchecked vendettas by siding with someone strong enough to counterbalance him. And perhaps in Michael's mind, joining Jack or Kane isn't treachery but necessity, a way of protecting the town from Victor's obsession with domination. But intentions rarely matter when Victor Newman is involved, because to him, there is only loyalty and betrayal, friend or foe, and the idea that his most trusted ally could stand with Jack Abbott is unthinkable, an act of war he will retaliate against mercilessly. Lauren, caught in the middle, finds herself reliving past anxieties, remembering the toll Victor's battles have taken on her marriage before, and she quietly pleads with Michael to consider not just his career but their family, reminding him that aligning with Jack or Kane could drag them both into danger. But Michael cannot shake the sense that this is his moment, his chance to step out of Victor's shadow once and for all. And so he finds himself at a crossroads unlike any other, weighing the promise of freedom and purpose against the inevitability of Victor's wrath. Meanwhile, Kane presses Amanda harder, insisting she take bigger risks on his behalf, which not only puts her in danger but also forces her to confront the question of where her loyalties truly lie. Does she serve Kane's agenda, protect Phyllis despite her reckless schemes, or carve out her own path, potentially aligning with Michael if he does in fact accept Kane's offer? Holden and Claire's alliance, already fragile, begins to crumble when Claire senses Holden's true motives, that he may be using her as a pawn in Kane's larger game, and her disillusionment bleeds into her rejection of Kyle's proposal, a blow that sends Kyle spiraling and vulnerable to manipulation from both Diane and Audra, who smell blood in the water. Sally Spectra, caught between her professional commitments and her growing connection with Billy Abbott, finds herself wondering if she too will be forced to choose sides in the looming Abbott-Newman war, especially if Michael Baldwin shifts the balance by joining Jack. The stage is thus set for a multi-front conflict, with every character's loyalties tested, every alliance fragile, and every choice carrying the weight of betrayal, and through it all, Michael remains the linchpin, the one man whose decision could determine the outcome of the coming war. Because if he joins Jack, he provides the Abbotts with the knowledge and strategy to finally outmaneuver Victor. But if he chooses Kane, he throws his lot in with unpredictability and shadows, a wild card that could either save or destroy Genoa City. And yet, there remains one more possibility, that Michael plays both sides, appearing to betray Victor while secretly working to contain him, a double game that only a man of Michael's intellect could pull off, though if discovered, it would cost him everything, including Lauren's trust. As the pieces move across the board, the question of whether Michael Baldwin will become Genoa City's greatest traitor or its most unlikely savior hangs over every storyline, promising explosive revelations, shattered friendships, and consequences that will echo for years to come. The moment Michael Baldwin finally makes the decision to accept Jack Abbott's offer is the moment the axis of Genoa City tilts, because in one swift move, the former right-hand man of Victor Newman becomes, in Victor's eyes, the embodiment of treachery, and the shockwaves ripple outward immediately. Jack, though cautious, can't help but feel a private sense of victory, knowing that having Michael in his corner means not only acquiring one of the sharpest legal minds in town but also gaining insight into Victor's patterns and strategies that no one else could possibly match. And for Michael, the rush of purpose hits him instantly, the old adrenaline of being part of something bigger flooding back. Yet as invigorating as it feels, he knows he has crossed a line he cannot uncross, and the weight of it hangs over him like a storm cloud, especially when Lauren senses the shift in his energy and asks point-blank if he has done what she fears, sided with Jack against Victor, forcing Michael to admit the truth and watch as worry floods her face. Lauren, fiercely protective of her family, cannot fathom how Michael thinks they can weather Victor's wrath, because she knows Victor does not merely react, he annihilates, and she reminds Michael of the years they've spent trying to keep their lives stable, questioning why he would jeopardize that now. But Michael counters with quiet conviction, arguing that Victor's obsession with destroying Jack has grown toxic and unsustainable, that someone has to step up to stop him, and if it means standing on the opposite side of Victor, so be it. But Victor Newman is not a man who sits idly by while betrayal festers, and when word reaches him, through whispers carried by Newman loyalists, or perhaps even through his own investigation, that Michael has not only entertained but accepted Jack's offer, the fury that erupts from him is volcanic.